I look at television as everything. So Netflix to me is television, right? So I look at television in the biggest way. And I think Michael Wolff says you can't look at television anymore and say, oh my God, it's just NBC or whatever, because it's not. It's everything. It's all those things. So whether you stream it, whether you broadcast it, I thought one of the funniest things that I've seen, or maybe most ironic, was somebody just posted in one of the technical magazines a whole way of getting direct broadcast. It's called an antenna. And so all of a sudden I'm sitting there thinking, wow, we had wireless TV back when I was a kid. Who knew? If we knew to call that wireless, we'd be maybe in a different world. So I think we're in a golden age of television for a lot of reasons. And I think the primary reason being because of all these channels that have come up, the quality of production has gone through the roof. So whereas a number of years ago, all of the genius analysts were talking about UGC, everything was going to be UGC, all the production was going to go away, nobody was going to do movies anymore, they were all dead, everything was going to be the cat peeing on your shoes that everybody would share because that's all everybody cared about. That's such crap. It's exactly the opposite. So not only are we doing the best production anyone has ever seen, but movie directors who 20 years ago would never do TV are vying to be on Netflix or even on some of the, or Amazon, or even some of the networks that still exist like an NBC or an ABC. They all want to be back in TV because the budgets are high, the production quality is huge, which means two things. One is somebody's got to pay for it, and the second thing is that advertising has to be as good as the content that you put it around. Like think of, it amazes me that we don't have those conversations. So the quality of advertising has to be the equal of the quality of the broadcast or stream or whatever you want to, however you get it. So that's number one. I think it's amazing. Number two, to your point, you have more direct-to-consumer brands coming up again. Now, that's not new. That's really a return to the past in a very big and powerful way. The problem is that there's not enough outlets for them with the premium content because Netflix streams, Hulu's, what are you going to do? Where are you going to put this stuff? So I believe, this is my view, and I predicted Amazon stores 10 years ago, I was right. Netflix within the next 2 years will have advertising. They have to, in my view, they have to. Amazon's already going to be there. So we're going to have more and more opportunities to put more and more great advertising. To your point, the ad loads are going to have to be lower. The ad loads are out of control. Literally, it's the length of a show today, the ads. Like at one time you could go and pee, now you can go pee and take a shower and shave and come back and see and still be going on. It's crazy. So I just think we're in a golden age, and I think that over the next couple of years, it's all going to sort of flatten out. We're going to have more opportunity to put our great advertising content around great content in general.
So how are conversations with clients? I mean, and all clients are different, but what are their expectations around television?
Depends on who the client is and depends on how they can sell. So for many, it sort of has to be that branded piece to create the brand image, to create the immersive experience around the brand, or whatever the du jour description for advertising is, because you have to go buy it someplace else. You have to, there's no direct sale. So you either go to Amazon, you go to Whole Foods, you go someplace and you buy it. But more and more of those companies are beginning to understand that Amazon is actually direct to consumer. And e-commerce is direct to consumer. So if I have an e-commerce business, all of a sudden my CPG or my service business or whatever is direct to consumer. Ergo, I have to start thinking about how do my ads look different, how do they sound different, what's the call to action, what's the offer. These are things that are a must. What's the pricing? These have to be in there. It's very, very important. And that's what makes a difference. And you see it. You see it with the Warby Parkers, you see it with the Caspers, you see it with the Bonobos. They're all going TV. You also see it with Facebook and Amazon. And Facebook and Amazon are buying a ton of what cynically, I would call traditional television, because I don't think it is traditional any more than anything else is traditional, but that's what the analysts and the people, the digibabble crowd would call that. And yet they're buying a ton of it. Well, what's that about? How come they're not just on Google or Facebook or Amazon? Because they're smart. They understand that they need to be elsewhere. Back in the day, you might remember, HBO started to advertise at one point on the networks, on the broadcast networks. And it was very controversial. Were they going to take the ads? Were they not going to take the ads? It's competitive. But it was obvious, because HBO wasn't saying we're the only thing in town, so we're only going to promote on our platform. You have to be on the platform to see it. Where if I'm not on the platform, I'm over here and I want to bring new people in. So Facebook gets it, Google gets it. It amazes me that some of our clients are still caught in that digibabble paradigm of, oh my God, you're not digital enough. Well, is Amazon not digital enough? I don't get it. Is Facebook not digital enough for you? And yet they're advertising without any shame on those platforms, on the broadcast platforms as well.
So just any thoughts about the show, CES? I know you were on the floor with Irwin recently.
Yeah, today I did the famous, legendary Irwin Gottlieb tour, which was amazing. So a couple of things. One is, I think calling it a technology show is nonsense. I've been writing about this for a few years. This show is not about technology, but it is about innovation. Absolutely about innovation. If it was a technology show, there'd only be engineers and scientists here talking about technology. So nothing to do with technology, it has everything to do with innovation. Because when you go on the floor, I have yet to find one person at Sony or at Panasonic or Samsung or any place that I've been start telling me about the guts of what they've done and the great technology. Yeah, sure, they've got like nice little acronyms for it, but after that, they don't want to talk about it. They want to show you because they want you to buy it. That's what this is all about. So that's number one. There's great innovation. I just saw, I was telling you before, I saw a new television from LG that rolls up like a shade. It was the most incredible thing I've seen. And I've heard about this for the past 5 years. I've been waiting for it. So just imagine you have a box like this deep, and a big screen just comes up out of it. It's absolutely astounding. What's more important about that is because it's flat and it's pliable, like just think about what you could do. So you could fold it up, put it in your pocket, go out to dinner, and then put a screen on the table and have an experience. I mean, it's amazing. So there's great things. But I do believe that what the show is really about, that nobody really wants to talk about because you can't see it, is 5G. Because so much of what we've seen is going to be dependent upon 5G. So autonomous cars, you have to have 5G. Your in-house, your ability in-house to have true, better wireless than you currently have, incredible wireless, is going to be 5G. It's all about 5G. These great television sets that we're seeing, these incredible screens, are all going to be about 5G. The problem with 5G is the technology exists. It's not a technology story, it's an infrastructure investment story. It's hundreds of billions of dollars to invest. That's the story. So Verizon, AT&T, that's the story. Who is going to do the investments? Who's going to do it first? That is where that's really the big story. That's the sort of the one that I'm hoping comes out, at least sidebar, to the beautiful screens and the incredible healthcare and the important wearables, and let's not forget the drones, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.